While the world waited for Tesla to launch an affordable electric car, and China continued to flood the market with compact EVs, India quietly unleashed something no one expected. A brand new electric vehicle priced at just $2,099 is now shaking the global EV industry to its core. It's not just cheap, it's smart, efficient, and entirely built on Indian soil. How did a startup achieve this? What kind of vehicle can cost so little and still function reliably? Just a few years ago, India wasn't even in the conversation when global experts discussed the electric vehicle revolution. The spotlight remained on giants like China, Germany, and the United States, where billions were poured into futuristic EV concepts. In contrast, India was still grappling with rising fuel prices, traffic congestion, and inadequate infrastructure. But quietly and with unexpected speed, the country began to change direction. Government policies began favoring sustainable transport. Subsidies incentivized electric vehicle production and purchase, and public perception shifted rapidly. Across cities and towns, electric scooters began filling showrooms. Curious customers, once hesitant, started making down payments. Initially, the trend leaned toward two-wheelers. Brands like Ola, Ather, and TVS began replacing petrol scooters not just in metro areas, but even in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Roads began to hum with battery-powered vehicles, replacing the sputter of traditional engines. Then something more surprising happened. The four-wheeler segment gained momentum. Tata Motors led the charge with compact, functional EVs. Mahindra followed. MG and Hyundai introduced premium models for early adopters. Suddenly, EVs weren't just the future, they were the present. Still, no one foresaw what would come next. While Tesla spoke of a $25,000 car and BYD scaled up in China, a new name quietly emerged from India. Not a legacy automaker or tech titan, but small startup Yakuza Auto. Their creation, a mini electric car priced around $2,099, didn't just become the world's most affordable EV. It challenged every assumption about affordability, scale, and what people truly need from a car. This wasn't a luxury vehicle or a continent-spanning machine with autopilot features. It was something far more radical. A stripped-down city car with everything essential. 4 wheels, a simple but functional interior, a lightweight battery, and over 100 kilometers of range per charge. For urban commuters, students, gig workers, and small families, it provided exactly what was needed. Transportation at a fraction of the cost. And that price, under Indian rupee 175,000, made an overnight sensation. Media outlets worldwide asked, how is this possible? Is it safe? Will it last? And more importantly, is this the future of mobility? The timing was perfect. As oil prices climbed, environmental urgency intensified, and cities became more congested, the demand for small, affordable, eco-friendly cars became undeniable. Yakuza Auto delivered not just a concept, but a real production vehicle, made in India for Indian roads, using local materials, local labor, and native design. What does this say about global EV strategies? Are the billions spent on luxury features and oversized engines truly necessary? Or has India unveiled a smarter, simpler path forward? How did Yakuza Auto manage to undercut global players by more than 90% in price, while still producing a functional car? The answer lies in how the car is built and how India's distinctive manufacturing ecosystem enabled the birth of a product that could reshape transportation. While global tech giant competed to revolutionize EVs with flashy features and sky-high prices, something quietly transformative was happening in India. The Yakuza Mini EV didn't arrive with celebrity endorsements or theatrical launch events. It didn't have AI or a luxury SUV frame. What it had was more powerful accessibility. In a country where millions still rely on two-wheelers and public transit, this simple, compact vehicle promised reliable mobility. In the U.S. and China, EV innovation often emphasized performance and prestige. Tesla's Cybertruck, and even its cheapest models remain aspirational for middle-class buyers. BYD, despite impressive strides, still prices its lowest models at $20,000 or more, out of reach for many. Yakuza Mini EV flipped that equation. Instead of asking how many features could be crammed in, it asked, what does a city commuter truly need? The answer was modest: a safe, small, economical, easy-to-maintain vehicle to get from point A to B. By eliminating touchscreen dashboards, heated seats, panoramic roofs, and entertainment systems, Yakuza created a lean, purposeful machine. In doing so, it became something more disruptive than the most futuristic EV concepts. It's not a car tomorrow, it's a solution for today. Yakuza's strategy reflects a deep understanding of India's dense urban fabric. In cities like Mumbai, Delhi, and Bengaluru, with narrow alleys, chaotic traffic, and scarce parking, luxury sedans may dazzle, but they're impractical. The Yakuza Mini EV, on the other hand, glides through the chaos like a whisper, and that whisper is getting louder. When news outlets across North America and Europe caught wind of a fully electric vehicle priced at just 1/10 the cost of a Tesla, global curiosity spiked. The conversation quickly shifted from speculation about Tesla's affordable Model 2 to an urgent question: how did India manage to build a viable EV at such a fraction of the cost? International think tanks and industry analysts began publishing white papers exploring the Yakuza model, digging into its use of locally sourced components, decentralized assembly strategy, and its urban-first design. What they found was startling. Yakuza's affordability didn't stem from corner cutting. It stemmed from reinventing the entire supply chain. While other automakers leaned into expensive robotic automation and global logistics, Yakuza relied on skilled labor, regional factories, and just-in-time manufacturing. This decentralized approach didn't demand billion-dollar investments. It demanded creativity, patience, and a deep understanding of Indian consumer psychology. And that's where the deeper disruption lies. The Yakuza Mini EV wasn't built to win global prestige. It was built to serve everyday communities. Yet by staying grounded in local realities, it has forced global players to rethink their strategies. What happens when innovation isn't driven top-down from Silicon Valley or Shenzhen, but from workshops in cities like Ahmedabad or Pune? If this underdog story seems complete, think again. The next chapter explores how India's EV infrastructure is evolving in parallel, and how this tiny car might soon drive down roads far beyond its homeland. Could the Yakuza Mini EV become the first truly global people's car of the electric age? As the Yakuza Mini EV gains quiet global traction, something even more transformational is happening in the background: the rise of India's EV infrastructure. Because in any electric revolution, the car is only half the story. The real game changer is the ecosystem that supports it. Just a few years ago, driving an electric vehicle across Indian cities seemed filled with obstacles. People worried about charging points, long waiting times, unreliable power, and how an EV would handle the country's heat monsoons and rugged roads. But today, those concerns are rapidly fading. Across India, thousands of EV charging stations are being installed, not just in megacities like Delhi and Bengaluru, but in Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns where urban growth is booming. Charging points now appear in malls, office lots, metro stations, highway stops, and residential neighborhoods. Some offer fast charging that can power small EVs like the Yakuza in a matter of hours. Others offer overnight charging for apartment dwellers. What was once a major barrier is becoming a normal part of urban life. And the transformation doesn't stop at plugs and ports. What truly deserves attention is the energy feeding this network. India is increasingly powering its grid with renewables. Massive solar farms in Rajasthan and wind corridors in Tamil Nadu are helping drive a clean electrification push. This means the Yakuza Mini EV isn't just an affordable ride. It's one that runs on sun and wind, making it a symbol of cleaner, quieter, and greener cities. Government support plays a vital role too. Programs like the National Electric Mobility Mission and the FAME, Faster Adoption and Manufacturing of Electric Vehicles, scheme are setting bold targets. They offer financial incentives for buyers, tax breaks, subsidies for EV manufacturers, and investments in localized battery production. These efforts lower the barrier to entry not only for buyers, but also for startups like Yakuza Auto, empowering them to innovate confidently, knowing they're supported by policy. Even Indian Railways is joining in, installing EV charging stations at train stations. Cities are integrating electric buses into public transport fleets. Food delivery platforms like Zomato and Swiggy are converting their fleets to electric. This isn't a vision of the future. It's a present reality. And vehicles like the Yakuza Mini EV aren't just keeping up with change, they're leading it. This evolution is visible in the mindset of India's middle class too. A generation that once equated car ownership with luxury now sees it as a symbol of sustainability and freedom. Parents are buying EVs for their children's first jobs. Young professionals are replacing motorbikes with compact, efficient four-wheelers. Retired couples are choosing quiet, maintenance-free electric cars over gas-guzzling alternatives. Indian cities are adapting as well. Urban planning now includes EV-dedicated zones. Parking lots feature charging plugs, and housing complexes are building common charging stations. Employers are incentivizing electric commuting, and insurance premiums are adjusting to reflect the lower long-term risks of electric drivetrains. In this context, the Yakuza Mini EV is more than just a car. It represents a moment when technology, policy, and infrastructure converge, something even the most advanced nations have struggled to coordinate. It's a template for how thoughtful, localized innovation can drive massive change. The story of the Yakuza Mini EV doesn't end at India's borders. In fact, this tiny, affordable electric car could become the world's next great disruptor. Imagine a future where families in Africa, Southeast Asia, or South America, regions historically excluded from the EV revolution, gain access to electric mobility for less than the cost of a motorcycle. For decades, EVs symbolized luxury and cutting-edge tech in wealthy nations. But now that's changing. What began as a local solution in India has become a global case study in frugal innovation. When governments and manufacturers look for truly scalable, cost-effective mobility models, they won't just look at Teslas or BYDs. They'll look at the Yakuza Mini EV, not because it set performance records or came with luxury features, but because it delivered exactly what people needed at a price they could actually afford. Already, nations in Africa are paying attention. Governments in Kenya, Nigeria, and Ghana are searching for affordable alternatives to diesel-powered public transport, solutions that are cleaner and less reliant on volatile fuel imports. The Yakuza Mini EV, with its light build, compact design, and ultra-low cost, may just be the vehicle they've been waiting for. Customizable and built for adaptability, the Yakuza Mini EV is particularly suited for local modifications, making it highly attractive to developing nations that typically import expensive vehicles ill-suited to their environments. These countries often face challenges with maintenance costs, part shortages, and rough road conditions. But the Yakuza, with its high ground clearance, locally sourced components, and replaceable battery system, is proving that electric mobility can truly be universal. Already, Indian trade partners are in discussions to license or export the design in bulk, which could soon see this humble vehicle navigating dusty roads in Malawi or weaving to the crowded streets of Lima and Nairobi. But the global impact of the Yakuza Mini EV isn't just about exports and price tags. It's about shifting the narrative. For decades, the notion of a globally accessible car that was both affordable and environmentally friendly felt like a contradiction. Cars were either cheap and polluting or clean and unaffordable. The Yakuza changes that equation. It proves that it is possible to merge those two ideals. The use of local labor and India-made lithium iron phosphate batteries isn't just a smart cost-cutting measure. It's a bold statement. Countries like India are no longer just following innovation trends set by wealthier nations. They're setting them. As production expands and technology matures, the Yakuza's performance is expected to improve even further. Currently offering a range of 150 kilometers on a single charge, future versions may double that, while still costing less than the average smartphone. The environmental impact of the Yakuza is just as powerful as its economic one. While electric vehicles have long been promoted for their reduced greenhouse gas emissions, they've often been dismissed as toys for the rich. The Yakuza overturns that assumption. It puts zero-emission driving within reach of someone with a modest income. It doesn't need expensive charging setups. It can be charged overnight from a standard socket. The environmental benefit doesn't end with cleaner air. Since its components are local and recyclable, its entire life cycle is more sustainable than that of traditional fossil fuel vehicles. What's more, the Yakuza Mini EV is positioned to ignite a wave of job creation and entrepreneurship. As the ecosystem expands, thousands of new jobs will be created. Charging stations, repair garages, battery recycling units, and regional manufacturing hubs will emerge in cities and small towns alike. Even drivers benefit directly. With an affordable vehicle, many more people can now join ride-sharing or delivery platforms without having to purchase costly commercial vans or taxis. It's a complete reimagining of urban mobility. Electric scooters began this wave of change, but the Yakuza Mini EV is the next evolutionary leap. Perhaps most remarkable is the symbolism embedded in this small car. The Yakuza Mini is more than a vehicle. It's a message that innovation isn't always about cramming in more screens, AI, or futuristic features. Real innovation stems from understanding people's everyday problems and solving them in practical, affordable ways. It comes from empathy, design thinking, and grassroots ingenuity, not just engineering excellence. The Yakuza may never win global design awards or grace the floors of elite auto expos, but it's winning something more important: trust. It's winning the trust of students who no longer need to take multiple buses to get to school, the trust of small vendors who can now transport goods independently, the trust of families who finally have a safe, clean, and simple vehicle for their daily routines. While giants like Tesla and BYD will continue to dominate the spotlight with their futuristic announcements and autonomous driving features, India has made a quieter yet deeper move. It has reminded the world that real revolution in mobility is about accessibility and scale, not just luxury and flash. This is the real genius behind the Yakuza Mini EV. It isn't trying to compete with luxury, it's competing with reality, and it's winning. So the pressing question now is, how will the rest of the world respond? Will other nations take inspiration and develop their own ultra-affordable EVs? Will traditional automakers finally understand that innovation is not only about power, speed, or status, but about solving real-world problems with heart? Or will this moment mark the turning point when the electric vehicle revolution truly becomes what it was always meant to be, a movement for everyone, not just the elite? If you ever believed that real innovation was reserved only for those with deep pockets, the Yakuza Mini EV has just proven otherwise. It's not merely a car. It's a revolution on four wheels. And as the world watches, one thing is now certain. The future of transportation might not be shaped by billion-dollar companies, but by the quiet determination and ingenuity of a few who dare to think differently. Stay tuned, because this is only the beginning.